before compassion and love is acceptance. Like, I mean, that true concept of acceptance, because we live in a society, and this goes across the world. Like, I mean, be you in, like, I mean, in this marvelous country of Singapore, or like, I mean, in the Bronx in New York, or like a really shitty part of Johannesburg, or in, like, I mean, East Africa or wherever, like, certain societal norms have been put in place for that society to function. But more often than not, we were led to believe that, ooh, when I do this, then I'm worthy of being enough.
Yeah.
When I do that, I've got to achieve this. I've got to drive that. I've got to get here. I've got to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, really acquire these things, because once I have this, then I will be good enough. And and I mean, that this is how the world functions. And it is when we accept that I am enough as I am, which is very tough, because all around the world, like on social media, in our own homes, like, I mean, and the worst is in our own minds, we are told by ourselves or by peers or parents or the media that, oh, you're rubbish, you're not good enough, like, I mean, because you don't drive this, you weigh that, you don't wear this, like, you don't smell this, like this. And so the trick essentially is, what I continue to learn and what I'm continuing to be curious about is like, how do I constantly change the status quo for myself? Like, how do I accept that this is what I weigh, this is what I earn, this is where I live, this is what I look like. And I think once there's a level of acceptance from that deep inner place, like, I mean, I suppose that kind of surpasses physical and mental and even emotional states. Like, I mean, I think it is much more of a spiritual nature, where a deep acceptance, then all of the doors are open. Like, then I'm like, this is who I am. And then we create a sense of space for love to come in. And love is, I mean, I mean, we read it in all, like, in like religious literature and on like Facebook status updates and on like, I mean, hear it in songs and everything. And it is this universal thing that everybody experiences. But love is a very complex emotion, because there's a biological component to it. Like, I mean, the love hormone called oxytocin. So something happens within the body when we experience love, but there's also something deeply spiritual and mental and emotional about it. And how do we acquire this sense of love? And I speak for myself here, when it's like, I always wanted that le grand amour, you know, like the big love. Like, I need to be fucking amazing.
Thunderstruck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like, you know, the honeymoon phase, like, I mean, and I thought that was reality. Like, I mean, I need to feel like this explosion of love and joy and happiness, like, I mean, to be okay. And that's not what love is. Love is very, very simple. It is about, like I said, acceptance. Like, I mean, can I accept myself as I am today? And it's sometimes impossible, because we have to achieve stuff, but through constant practices. And this is where, like, for example, my method of letter writing, but I mean, there are numerous other things that includes like exercise and meditation and prayer practices and connecting to source that brings you to a place of essential nothingness, you know, like, I mean, where all of the guards are down. And I think that creates the space for us to accept ourselves. And then love comes in and expresses itself through things like compassion. Because if I had to, I mean, I would do a lot of work on myself, but like, for example, if I had to speak to you the way I speak to myself, like, you would smack me. Like, I mean, because I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah.
But what I try and do in the mornings is to be the person that I needed when I was younger, and accept that is what it is. It's like, oh, of course I'm going to mess up, because what is it? Today's like what the, like, I mean, what it's 5:10 in the afternoon, and we've never been here. We've never been in this moment in time where, like, and we think that we're supposed to know what we're supposed to do, but nobody's been here yet. Like, we don't have the experience. So we judge ourselves with this relentless amount of like, oh, but I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I must be here, and I think that's what screws us up the most is like where we think things were supposed to be like, and they're just not. So by regulating one's nervous system through practical methods like letter writing and maybe going for a walk and exercise, and then digging a little deeper through other methods of like perhaps mental health practices or spiritual practices that comes through the form of prayer and meditation and so forth, to really connect to the part of yourself that is connected to each and every other one. Like that's connected to nature, that's connected to God, as you wish to call it, God or universe or source or consciousness. Then you tap into that. And I think it is a daily practice. It lasts 24 hours where you connect with it in the morning and I'm like, oh, I am good enough as I am. But when I do all of these things, I sometimes wish bad shit wouldn't happen to me, because I'm following a spiritual practice and I've got good mental health and everything else, but I'm not an endangered species. Like just because because I write love letters to myself. It's like life still happens. Like people die. There's financial insecurity. There are wars. Like that's the reality of life. And I think this is what true love really is like, oh, can I accept that when someone